please welcome Missouri Realtors 2023 President, Andrea Sheridan.
I feel like I'm at a soccer match. This is awesome. All right, welcome everyone. It sounds like you guys are just as excited as I am to kick this winter business conference off. Let me give a special shout out to all of you who are joining from the live stream. Hey friends, glad you're joining us. So this year's theme is Shine Your Light. And the theme just encompasses who we are as Missouri Realtors, that each of us bring our own unique gifts, our abilities, our backgrounds, our expertise to make conversations here alive with all of the colors of the rainbow of the experiences that we get to bring together. So thank you guys for being here and investing your time in our association. As the week begins, please visit the conference schedule page or use the Missouri Realtors app to view event information. We have an exciting program for you guys today, so let's get started. I would like to welcome the Flourish Quartet. They will be leading this afternoon's national anthem. So please stand and join me in turning our attention to the Olathe Police Department Honor Guard for the presentation of the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
A very special thank you to the Flourish Quartet and the Olathe Police Department Honor Guard. As always, it is a very special pleasure for me to introduce the rest of your 2023 leadership team. And LT, stand when you're introduced and give a wave. Derek Schreiber, President-elect. Bobby Howe, Treasurer. John Mayfield, immediate past President. Brian Jared, Treasurer-elect. And Brianna Vanstrom, CEO. Thank you, leadership team, for continuously going above and beyond to serve our members and our industry. Now to welcome today's special guest. Tara Renzi is an author, keynote speaker, emotional intelligence, and positive intelligence practitioner, podcaster, thought leader, wife, and mother, and is redefining how we unleash purpose, level up our success, create sustainable happiness and fulfillment in all aspects of our lives. After 2 decades of success in corporate leadership and social selling, she started writing and keynote speaking to empower others to be who they came to be and create, own, and live the life they desire, envision, and deserve. Tara has a true passion for talent and a talent for guiding others to harness and realize their full potential. Her favorite titles in life are wife to Scott, mom to Ben and Jack, daughter, sister, and friend. Her dogs, Olive and Fog, are by far her biggest fans. Join me in welcoming Tara.
Hi. Andrea, thank you. Thank you so much. Missouri Realtors, welcome to Kansas City. Are you excited for your amazing week of inspiration and learning and really getting to go all in on your business? This is the year, 2023, the year that you can be who you came to be in your real estate business. Think about that for a minute. Be who you came to be. It's this idea that you, and you, and you, and all of you were born, predestined to do something absolutely extraordinary with your life. Be who you came to be. A permission slip to grow, change, and evolve. This idea that you're never going to arrive at some spot in life and have it all figured out. You get to keep leveling up. You get to keep growing, changing, and evolving. Be who you came to be. Sometimes I think about this and I think, gosh, what if someone would have told me that when I first entered the workforce? Maybe I was playing small. I was a little unsure of my gifts and talents and how I was going to contribute to my career and my community. Be who I came to be. I think about that when I first became a new mom and I was trying to juggle career and these new waters of motherhood. Be who you came to be. What if someone would have told you that when you passed your real estate exam? Be who you came to be. Go do something great. Help people find the homes of their dreams. Be who you came to be. Well, here you can see this was actually a note that my 87-year-old grandmother wrote for my infant son just a week after he was born. Now, I knew that she thought so much about this letter, and it wasn't uncommon for Dot to send letters. She sent letters to me all the time, but this one was special. She picked out this beautiful powder blue stationery. Ben was the first grandson. He was the first grandchild that she had. And she wrote this beautiful note about him and being his great-grandmother and how she'd thought and dreamt about him for a very, very long time. But never in a million years did she imagine, of course, that he would be such a beautiful baby. But then she wrote this, be who you came to be, love will guide you. Now, as a new, very emotional postpartum mother, I just started bawling instantly. But I was looking at this child and I was thinking, be who you came to be. Oh my gosh, who are you? You've only been in this world for 7 days, but you have so many unique gifts and opportunities, and how lucky am I that I get to watch them all unfold. But sometimes in life, we kind of start giving up on ourselves, right? We think, oh, we're going to get the kids, we're going to get them, 18, get them in college or getting them in the working force, and then we kind of feel like maybe we're done. Like maybe we're done growing, like we should have it all figured out. Earlier, I told you, you're never going to reach a spot in life. You're never going to just reach this pinnacle moment and coast the rest of the way. There's always a chance for an up level. But you've got to go all in on you. You've got to create it. You've got to own it, and you've got to live it. And today I'm going to be sharing secrets with you on how you do that. How do you create epic moments of genuine happiness and success in your life? How do you own it? How do you finally say, you know what, world? This is who I am. And for some people, I'm going to be too much. And for other people, I am not going to be enough. But I am enough. And then how are you going to live it? How are you going to lean into fear? Start dreaming a little bit bigger for yourself and never play small again so that you can go all in 2023 and be who you came to be. So let's start talking about it. How do you create it? How do you create epic moments of happiness and success? I talk to people all the time. After these events, I get to talk with people and I chat with them. I say, hey, what do you want? What do you want this year? What do you want in your life? 95% of the time, I get the exact same answer. I just want to be happy. They say, I just want to be happy, right? I get it. I want to be happy too. Who doesn't want to be happy, right? Get this, in the year 2020, when we were in the heart of the pandemic, do you know what was searched more than anything on the internet? Happy, which is hilarious if you think about it. Like we were all sitting around like, this sucks. I can't even go to the grocery store. Surely Google has the answers. How do I create happiness in the heart of a pandemic? Right? We were all wondering, like, when is this going to end? So I like to think about happiness with our little friends, the emojis. How many of you guys like emojis? Do you use them? Do you have teenagers who tell you that is not a cool emoji? I have 2 teenage boys and they're like, Mom, that emoji shows us how old you are. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was dating myself by, putting certain emojis in. But we have our happy emoji, right? Choose happy, be happy, get happy. I mean, you can't go on the internet. You can't go on social media without people constantly reminding you that you better choose happy, you better get happy, and you better be happy. It's a choice, right? Every day in our face. But I don't know about you, but this is actually probably like the least emoji that I use the least. Sometimes I feel cool. This is a nerdy one, by the way. If you send this to a teenager, they're going to be like, well, you are not cool. Sometimes we feel cool. Sometimes we feel tired, right? We just want to take a nap. That would make me happy. Sometimes we feel silly. We feel goofy. Sometimes we feel anxious, right? Is this the emoji that you send when you think a buyer might be backing out of a contract? Like, oh, God, no, don't do it, right? Or maybe you feel really sad when they actually do back out, and you're like, oh my God, I gotta call the client and tell them. And then there's this emoji, right, that maybe your buyer sends you when they find out that the house that they dreamed of already had a contract on it. So sad. And then there's this one, right? I love this one. It just says it all without having to say it. And whoever's the recipient of it gets to use all their favorite words to translate what I'm trying to say. Now, emojis, just like us, have evolved. We've gotten these new things. They're called Bitmojis. Do you guys have a Bitmoji? Have you taken the time to try to figure out your avatar? It's a time commitment, okay? Current mood. Really, we can better explain how we're feeling, which isn't always happy, which most of the time isn't just happy all the time. And then I'm sure you guys can relate to this one, right? It's realtor, not realtor, right? Yeah. You can type in whatever message you want on emojis, and they'll bring it out in a really fun way for you to let people know how you feel about things. Here's the good news. You don't need to be happy 24/7. You weren't born to be happy 24/7. You are a human. You are a human being with 7 different types of emotions that all interact with each other. Eliminate your happiness quest. That's my first secret. Now, it's always fun when I say this because everyone kind of just stares through my soul. And they're like, what? Eliminate my happiness quest. Everyone's telling me to get happy constantly. You can't chase it. You cannot manufacture it. I don't care how hard you try. You cannot wake up every day and say, I'm going to be so happy today. Life happens. Things happen. You spill a coffee. You get in a car wreck. Your kid gets sick. Small things happen. The printer isn't working at work. Little things, right? They can trigger us to feel a lot of other emotions, and that's totally okay. You are only human. Here's the secret, though. You want to create genuine happiness in your life? You want to have ongoing, unlimited success? Focus on what is fulfilling in your life. Not what's easy. Not what makes you happy. Think about fulfilling things. What are a couple of fulfilling things? What's something really fulfilling in your life? Family. What's something really fulfilling in your life? Pardon? Closing, cha-ching. Yeah, right? What else? Anybody else have something fulfilling in their life? Shout it out. Vacation, okay. Friends. I hear community service, all these things. Now, I do joke. I've been married for 22 years, and never in hundreds of audiences do people say, my spouse, my wife, my husband. Never, right? Now, I joke about this because I have been married for 22 years, and, you know, I can tell you this much. My husband and I haven't always been happy. If you've been married a long time, you know that marriage is a lot of work. It requires you to be tenacious, bold, forgiving, persistent, kind, all of those things. But what I can also tell you is that relationship with me and my husband is one of the most fulfilling things I have in my life. Now, I also have some friends who will tell you that the most fulfilling thing they did was get a divorce. So, whatever floats your boat. But once again, these aren't easy things. These are hard things. They require us to go all in. I want you to think about, what are you shining your light on? I want to share this quick story with you about a young boy who wanted to shine some light on his mom and how it transformed an entire village.
Growing up, our village didn't have electricity, so it was hard for my mother to work. But I had an idea to fix that. I invented a light that works with very little power. One small car battery can light an entire house for a month. My mother didn't get to see what I created, but I think she would be proud.
Pretty amazing story about a young boy who wanted to give light to his mother, not just shine light for his mother. Do you think that was easy for him? Do you think that he was happy all the time trying to figure out how to light up a third world village? But he did it. And he changed the lives of every single person there. How are you shining your light? I always say, focus on the power of one. He wanted to help his mom. So he went to work, doing something really fulfilling that created an epic moment of success. How are you shining your light? Are you being intentional with it? Here's what I can tell you about fulfilling things. Fulfilling things create epic moments of happiness and success. I love a good space movie. And it's kind of crazy to think that there was only in the 69 that we landed a man on the moon, which is really weird when you think about it. We didn't have computers or an iPhone. You couldn't even call someone right now, but you could put them on the moon. And I think about these movies, and every time I watch these movies, I'm like, oh, they're sweating. They're in Houston, every single person's dripping in sweat. They're so stressed out. They're smoking most of the time. I don't know if they still smoke or not, but in all the old movies, they're always smoking cigars and sweating. And then they find out that they landed, right? And there's a huge celebration. There's an epic moment of happiness and success. We can do hard things. We can land people on the moon. We can create a cell phone. We can do all kinds of really cool, fulfilling things. Not easy, but worth it. Fulfilling things are energizing. Do I have any marathon runners in the room? Yeah? Okay. Who thinks they've run the most? Shout it out. Bobby, how many have you done? At least 10. 10. Oh my gosh, I only run if I'm being chased, okay? But I hear about these marathon runners, and they do it because it's energizing and it's fulfilling. Do you think that Bobby is enjoying her run when it's sleeting rain, but she's got to get the 10 miles in for training? No. Or what about on mile 19, when she's like, I've got blisters, I really need to go to the bathroom. But I'm going to keep going because I got to beat my time. And then she goes and signs up for another one. It's energizing. Do you guys know who this is? This is Rick and Dick Hoyt. Dick is the father. Rick is the son. Rick was born with cerebral palsy. In fact, when he was first born, they didn't think that he could communicate. And they were like, doctors were at a loss. This was in the 60s. Now, technology came along, and they actually figured out how to communicate with Rick, and they found out he was actually extremely intelligent. He went on to get a college degree. And around that time, he heard about a high school kid who was paralyzed playing sports. And they were going to do a 5K race for him. And he went home and he communicated with his dad that he thought they should run this race and that Dick should push him. And Dick said, Rick, I don't run. And he saw the look in his son's eyes and he said, okay, we're going to do it. Now they ran one race. And after the race, Rick said, Dad, when we were running that race, I forgot I had a disability. They went on to run 1,100 races, 71 marathons, and 7 Ironmans. They inspired other people with their notes of, it's a good life. Inspiring others to do hard things. It's energizing, fulfilling. Do you think that Dick was having a blast every time he had to push his son? It was hard work. Extremely fulfilling and energizing. He kept coming back for more. And the coolest thing about fulfilling things is it shows us what's important to us. It unlocks your authenticity. Just because Bobby runs marathons doesn't mean that I'm going to run a marathon. That's fulfilling to her. For me, fulfilling is getting up and working out in my home gym every morning, maybe taking my dog on a walk. My mom loves to watercolor. She's like, don't you want to come over and paint? And I'm like, if it involves wine, we can paint and sip. But for her, she loves it. And here's the thing, when you read all kinds of stories, and people will tell you at the end of their life, they are most thankful for the fulfilling things they did, the things that mattered most, and then they're going to tell you how they regret not going all in on some fulfilling things that they wish they had done. It shows us what's most important. Most of all, it's unshakable. I want you to think about something fulfilling in your life. Maybe a person, maybe a relationship, maybe something you did. Probably feel it right now. This is my dad and my son, Jack. I lost my dad unexpectedly about 7 years ago. And on my happiness quest at that point in time, I can tell you that I was the most unhappy person I'd ever met. And if you've ever dealt with grief or loss or really major disruption to your life, you know that happiness just can't compete. You cannot just manufacture it. But it was during this time that I realized that I wasn't the happiest person. In fact, there were days that I wasn't happy, but I was actually really fulfilled. I had a 37-year relationship with my dad that was unshakable. And I can tell you right now, 7 years after he died, it's still as fulfilling today as it was then. I have that with me in my heart. That's what you get when you do fulfilling things. You have them forever. Here's a secret. Not all time is created equal. Yeah, we all get the same 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. How are you showing up? How are you shining your light? How are you shining your light? I put a rainbow on here. Andrea shared in the 2023 president and I were talking before the presentation a week or two ago, and she was telling me one of the reasons she loved this idea of light was because each of you have a unique light. Each of you brings something different to the table. It's why there's so many different agents out there, because who I might have as an agent, maybe my friend, Jesse wouldn't want that person for an agent. They'd want someone else. We have human connection, and it's how you shine your light that's important. And if you think about light, when you look at light, we just see bright white light, but light is actually made up of all the colors. And how is a rainbow formed? A rainbow is formed by a very intentional stream of light that actually has to hit a water droplet in just the right way so the light refracts, and that's when you can see the color. It's intentional. You've got to start being intentional in your business, how you're showing up, how you're treating others, how you're going all in on you. You have to create it. Now you have to own it. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to get out there, I'm going to start doing it, and I'm going to own it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put myself out there. And we start comparing. Really easy to get in comparison. I mean, you guys work in real estate. This is a comparison market, right? Well, this house had this, and it didn't have this, and I really wish it had this, and gosh, the kitchen just would have been white and not brown, and not have a back patio. I mean, trust me, I bought 4 houses in my lifetime, and my last one, the realtor was like, "Are you hunting for a unicorn?" And I was like, "I think so. I think we are. I believe you can find it for me." And we did. We found a unicorn. But it's all about comparison, right? So I actually was talking to a friend of mine who's an agent, and I got this great story. I was telling her tell me about the big houses that you sell. What was the biggest house that you had? And she was like, oh my gosh, it was this amazing. It was a $1.9 million contract. This couple came in. They were moving from San Francisco. So think about that. We know, right? They come from San Francisco, the sky's the limit. Because what they had there, like they're going to be able to get 10 times as much here. They're going to be happy. She was like, and you're never going to believe this, right around the same time, my husband had been out to the bar and was talking to the bartender. And he came home and he's like, guess what? I got us a listing. And she was like, oh, what is it? And he showed her the picture of the $98,000 house. And she was like, oh, John, really? Now, she goes to the house, and the house actually was in really bad shape. Not only was it a $98,000 house, it was in really bad shape. It needed a lot of work. The person who had lived in it had been hoarding. There was all kinds of things broken. And she told the guy that inherited, who was a bartender, that this was good money for him, right? Like, hey, this is going to be a lot of work. You're going to have to put money into this before we can even get it on the market. He said, okay, I'm good. Let's do it. She goes over to put her sign in the grass in front, and out comes the neighbor. And he said, oh, is this house for sale? Are they selling this house? She's like, yeah. He's like, I think I'm going to buy it. And she goes, excuse me, have you been in this house? He's like, I don't care. He's like, my brother and I are really handy. We can fix it up. He said, and I need this house. My wife has Alzheimer's. And she's really struggling, and I'm really struggling. And I need my daughter. I need this house for my daughter. She wants to move home. She wants to move closer and help take care of mom. Two stories, two very different things. If you're comparing price, if you're comparing commission, if you're comparing all of that, right, you'd think, oh, the 1.9, yes. Hey, and I get it. I'm money motivated too, and there's nothing wrong with that. But ultimately, it's about the people that you serve. The man who bought the $98,000 house, his story might have been more fulfilling and more meaningful than the people who got to move from San Francisco and start a new life right here in the Midwest. How are you showing up? How are you owning it? Right? We compare properties, but then what happens? We start comparing ourselves. We start comparing ourselves to others. Tonight, there's going to be an award ceremony. Now, I'm looking out at the audience, and there's not a silver cup for all of you. And now you're going to think, oh, what did I do? Why didn't I get one? What do I need to do? Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I'm not right for this business. Maybe I didn't have the right people. Maybe I'm not with the right company. Maybe I need to find a new broker. You're going to start going, and you're going to go down a rabbit hole of comparison. You didn't come to be them. You came to be you. Now, I love music, and I think about this a lot, but where are my country music fans that are in the audience? Okay, country. Okay, so you love Garth here. Personally, I'm a Morgan Wallen fan, praying that my husband can get us tickets to the concert this year. What about jazz? Do we have any Miles Davis lovers in the audience? Okay. These are all some of my favorite male musicians. What about Bruno Mars? Yeah? Okay. Michael, Elvis, Elton John? What about Eminem? Okay, I like this. What if Eminem, when he got into the music market, thought, oh, I am going to be a white rapper, but that's going to be really challenging for me. So I think I'm just going to do country. Right? It would have never worked. That's not who he came to be. And Eminem's controversial. Like, some people love him, some people don't. Some people think that he is vile and wrong. But then he's got his raving fans. All of these musicians created music for themselves, ultimately. It was the songs that they had in their head that they wanted to write, the stories they wanted to tell, the songs they wanted to sing. And they did it. And by being authentic to them, they created their raving fans. Nobody listens to elevator music unless you're on an elevator. And it's on an elevator because it's not going to excite or upset anyone. Who are you? How are you showing up? Even more challenging now that we have our friends Instagram and Facebook. Do you guys play on social? Yes, Instagram and Facebook. And if you have teenage kids like I do, you know that this is more real than ever, the highlight reel. This is my dogs. I always say that if you ever have a chance to get on stage and you are a dog owner and you do not put your dogs on the PowerPoint, then you're in trouble. Like, you have to put them out. Now, I show this picture because they look so sweet and like, oh, they're so loving and well-behaved. This was a setup, okay? One of them was on my lap. Another kid put one on, and I was like, quick, get a picture. This is amazing. This got so many likes. And people being like, ooh, I need to get a puppy. I need a dog. Do we have people who got pandemic puppies? Yeah? Yes, we did too, right? We're trapped at home. Oh, this sucks. I want to be happy. Oh, look at all the puppies. Look at all these puppies. They're making people so happy. They're so cute. They like to get a bath. They're playing. No one's showing you how they tore up the shoes, ate through a wall, pooped on the new carpet, like did all of that. And no one also shows you your kids who are like, I will take care of this dog. The dog is there for 1 week. Kids are nowhere to be found, right? Instagram and Facebook, we see the highlight reels. We see the best of the best. We see everybody's top, everything the best, right? You're not putting out on there, oh, lost a sale for this reason, right? You're showing sold fast. Sold fast. And then the other agents are like, damn, I just lost 2 deals today. What am I doing? Because you're comparing yourself to someone else's highlight reel. So I started thinking about this, because comparison's a big thing. People talk about it all the time. Stop comparing, don't compare. We still do it. We still do it. No matter what age. We tell our kids not to compare, and then we sit around and compare. So I started thinking about this, and although I was a communication studies major in college, I was also a music major for a couple of years. I'm not really scientific, but I did my own little research study on this, because I started thinking about this. I started thinking, why do we do this? I mean, I've compared career, family, my marriage, how I am as a mom, everything. So I did this. I said, I'm going to just draw out my life, highs and lows, right? The highs and lows of highlight reels, and see if there's any correlation. I'm going to start asking my friends to do it. Well, let's see if happiness peaks in our 30s or plummets in our 40s. So this is my life. You can see just as many ups and downs as, many highs as many lows. So then I asked my friend Beth. I said, Beth, will you do this for me? So she did it. Now, Beth was who I envied when I left the corporate world. So I actually left the corporate world to start a home-based business when I was in my 30s. I wanted more freedom and flexibility. I wanted to get off the road. I was traveling 3 or 4 nights a week. Wanted to be more present with my kids. So I envied Beth, though, because she stayed at corporate. And I saw her get one after the next award, accolade. She won this. She was President's Club. She was getting promoted. And I was home taking care of babies thinking, oh my God, what did I do? I left my career. I'm a nobody. My 2-year-old wasn't like, awesome job today, Mom. You kicked ass. Way to go. I'm going to send you on a trip to Hawaii for doing it 365 days. That doesn't happen, only in the corporate world. I was watching her, so then I said, okay, Colleen. Now, this is my best friend, Colleen. We met in college. She's been my best friend since I was 18. Colleen actually has her master's degree in early childhood education, but she took off a lot of her 30s to stay home with her kids. So here we were raising kids together. And I thought Colleen was like the ultimate mom. Like, she was always happy. She has 4 kids. I have 2, so she had twice as many. And she seemed to have twice as much energy as me. And she was what I call the play on the floor mom, meaning like she was always coming up with stuff, and she loved crafts. Glitter in my house is equivalent to like if you brought cocaine into my house. Like, do not bring glitter into my house. I am not crafty, okay? I suck at crafts. But I was watching Colleen, and here she was like this mom that I admired, and I looked up to, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to start doing crafts, or I am not going to be winning in the mom category, right? Like, maybe my kids will think, oh, she didn't do crafts. She's not a great mom. So I tried it. Nailed it. Colleen had done these gingerbread cookies around the holidays. She did 4 of them. I was like, maybe we'll attempt 1. That's what ours look like. Now, of course, I saw it, and I was like, crying hysterically, and kind of sadness as well. But here, do you think that my kids cared? No. Do you think they were like, Mom, this is not good? They were like, this is awesome. They thought it was beautiful. They ate half the candy, and we had a blast. So why do we compare? We put all these on top of each other, and this is what it looks like. It's just a beautiful mess. Your life, my life, her life, their life. There's no correlation to happiness and success, or who you should be and how you should be showing up. You've got to be the best version of you. You cannot measure yourself on someone else's highlight reel, because you never know what's going on behind the scenes. You saw those life graphs. People were having highs and lows when I didn't even know it. My best friend Colleen, she was like, God, I struggled in my 30s. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Because we struggle privately. We show up happy. We hide grief. We hide sadness. And we fake other things. You didn't come to be them. I said this earlier, I'm going to say it again. You didn't come to be them. You came to be you. Be who you came to be. For others, for some, you're not going to be enough. For others, you're going to be too much. And then there are going to be your people. The people that love you, that resonate with you, that celebrate you, that push you, that believe in you. Those are your people. Here's a final secret on owning it. We'll go back to our starry-eyed emoji. Replace comparison with admiration. When we compare ourselves to other people, we ignite a lot of insecurity. We ignite a lot of self-doubt. We're coming up with all the reasons that we aren't here. And even if you compare yourself to someone and feel great, it doesn't matter. Like you didn't come to be them. When we admire someone, a lot of times we compare because there's something there. There's something maybe we want. We want to do more. We want to dream more. We want to work more. We want to achieve more. Admire it. When we admire someone, we ignite a lot of possibility. We think, wow, if they can do it, I can do it. You know, these people who win these awards, go find out what they're up to. Get curious. Start admiring more and comparing less. So how are you going to do it? You're going to focus on fulfilling things. You're finally once and for all going to own it. Next time you find yourself comparing, you're going to start admiring, or you're going to remember you're comparing to a highlight reel. But then you're going to have to start living it. You're going to have to start living it every day. You're going to have to start going all in on you. But what happens when we start dreaming big for ourselves? We start thinking, you know what? I'm going to do it. I've got this goal. I call these butterfly goals. Why do I call them butterfly goals? Well, if I had a caterpillar here, and I had a butterfly, and I told you that this caterpillar becomes the butterfly, and you didn't know the science, you would think that I was either a magician in Vegas or crazy. You'd be like, there's no way that that big, fat, hairy caterpillar becomes a butterfly. But you know it to be true, so you know what happens. And you know what happens to the caterpillar. It eats and eats and eats and eats and eats, and then eventually wraps itself up in a chrysalis. While it's in the chrysalis, it actually completely deconstructs itself so that it can rebuild and emerge as this beautiful butterfly with wings. And if you read the story of the caterpillar metamorphosizing into a butterfly, the hardest part is right at the end, right when most people would give up, right? But they have to break out of the cocoon, and they have to spread their wings and learn how to fly. That's a lot. That's a lot for a big, fat, hairy caterpillar. But if the big, fat, hairy caterpillar can do it, you can do it too. So start thinking about, what is a butterfly goal that you have for yourself, something really big. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to put it out there if you have the guts to do it. I challenge you to tell someone about it. And then you're going to get really scared. You're going to think, oh my God, what have I done? Why have I done this? What if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? What if they say no? What are people going to think? I don't know. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. You're going to come with every reason to write that off because you're scared. But here's the thing. Fear and anxiety, invitational fear because you've invited it in, you want it, is actually the first sign that you are on the right track. You don't get scared about things you don't care about unless you're getting chased by a bear or, watching a scary movie or something like that, but that's not the type of fear I'm talking about. I'm talking about invitational fear because you want more for your life. You want to dream bigger. You want to do better. You want to achieve more. You're going to get scared. That's the first sign that you're on the right track. So I'm going to tell you a fun story about my $100,000 butterfly goal. Now, I'm a Kansas girl, born and bred in the state of Kansas. I grew up in this really, really small town of 350 people. Yeah, 350. Anyone from a smaller town? I don't even think there is a real estate agent in the town. The bank knows what's coming on the market, and that usually consists of when someone is probably going to die. There's going to be a house available. So anyway, I grew up in this small town of 350 people. It was the 80s, and we didn't have a lot going on in the small town, so we played outside a lot. We did a lot of things, but we had 3 TV channels. We had ABC, NBC, and CBS, so we watched game shows all the time. Do you guys grow up in the 80s watching game shows? Any faves? Price is Right? Wheel of Fortune? Press Your Luck. Oh, I love that one. Okay, well, we watched all of them, and in fact, we were watching The Price is Right, someone said it, when the lady got called, and this was before they did time lapses, because they were just filming, and she lost her tube top. And I remember being like, ah, and my brothers were like, this is awesome. They were like, best 3 seconds of my 10-year-old life. But anyway, we watched all the game shows, and we loved them, and we watched them all, and we had so much fun watching these game shows. It was really like the first reality TV that was out there, right? Because they filmed it, and people were playing, and you were wondering what was going to happen. So I told my brothers, I was like, I'm going to be on a game show. Now, I have 2 older brothers. I'm the only girl, and I've said a lot of things. And my brothers have always checked me. Yeah, right. You're going to be on a game show. We live in Cortland, Kansas. You've never even been to New York or LA, which is where they film all of these things. I was like, I'm going to be on a game show. I would tell them. Now, years passed. A lot of years passed. Guess what? New York, LA, no one was calling Tara to be on their game show. No one was like, hey, we heard you had this childhood dream to be on Price is Right. We want to fulfill that. We want to fly you out and just let you be on the show, and we'll also make sure that you win. That's not the way the world works. No one was coming for me. Nobody cared about my dream. I cared about my dream. So, oh gosh, right after I started doing this business, when I started my own business, I was like, oh man, this is going to take a while to really start generating some serious revenue. I need some money. I'm going to go back on that game show. I was like, I'm going to do the game show. So I remember I messaged my brothers. I'm like, hey, guess what? I'm going to be on a game show. They're like, yeah, you've been saying that now for 30 years of your life. So I got on Google, started looking around. I was like, oh, well, you could apply for game shows. So I started applying. I started getting rejected. Nobody wanted me on the game show. Until somebody wanted me on the game show, right? My real estate agent used to say, it only takes one. It only takes one. It only took one. And they were like, hey, we're actually curious about you. So I started interviewing for the game show. I started, talking to them. And it's a really, really big process, I found out. Because once you get on the show, you actually have to know how to play the game. They can't stop it and be like, hey, we need to retake that. So it's a pretty big vetting process to make sure that you can play on the show. But guess what? I did it. I, Tara, town of 350, got on $100,000 pyramid. Now, when I was growing up, this was $20,000 pyramid, so times have changed, right? So I get on $100,000 pyramid, and as soon as I got cast on it, fear really set in, because I thought, what have I done? Like, this is insane. I'm going to go on a game show in front of national TV, and we know what happens. People lose their tube tops, right? People say stupid things, and it's for the whole world to see. So I started getting really scared. I almost backed out. Especially when legal got involved. There's so much legal documents that go into putting you on the show, all these things, the secrecy of it and all this. And I thought, oh my God, I've never really kept a big secret in my life. How can I do this? But I went ahead and said, you know what? This is always what you've dreamed of doing. Go for it. So I got on the show, and I was playing with the good doctors. This is Nicholas Gonzalez, and the other person I played with was Richard Schiff. And how they do it is you play, and then if you win the first round, then you get to go to the winner's circle. So there's no money unless you actually get into the winner's circle. So I was like, okay, I've got to at least get into the winner's circle. So guess what? My boy Nicholas and I, we get into the winner's circle where you can win $50,000. So the clues start ticking, like things at a magic show, people at an airport. And I see the next one, and it's famous astronauts. And I looked at Nicholas and I said, Lance Armstrong. And he starts going, a cyclist, bike riders. And I was like, oh God, this is not, my mind, and the clock's ticking, and I'm looking over there, and Michael Strahan's like, and I'm like, oh God, this is not right. And I couldn't think of it, so I passed, and I said, next clue was things that are refreshing, and I said, ice cold lemonade, and he goes, things that are refreshing, and I was like, good God. Comes back to the astronauts, all I could think of was Buzz Lightyear, not Buzz Aldrin, and Lance Armstrong. I could not get the name out of my head. Sure enough, the time runs out, and Michael Strahan comes over and on national TV said, did you think he was going to ride his bike to the moon? And I was like, oh God, that just cost me $38,000. That's how much I lost, because I said Lance. Now, the money was one thing, but I still won $12,500, and I was like, okay, I won $12,500, but I felt so stupid. And it was a moment of, are you mentally fit enough? Are you here to be who you came to be? Now, at that point in time, I could have played small. I had about a 5-minute break before they started rolling the show again, till we had to go back and play. And all the fear. You look stupid. You're so dumb. Your brothers are going to make fun of you. You don't know you're astronauts. You're 38 years old. Like, how stupid can you possibly be? All of those things. And I finally said to myself, you know what? They cast you because they liked you. They cast you because you're you. Go play the game. So I played the game, and I got back into the winner's circle, and I ended up winning $100,000. Okay? I tell you this story for a few reasons. It's never going to go as you planned. You are going to fail. My grandmother always said, the same one who wrote a note, it's only a mistake if it happens twice. The first time was just a lesson that you needed to learn. I will never mess up Neil and Lance again. You got to start dreaming a little bit bigger for yourselves. You've got to go all in on you. How are you going to do it? You're going to have to start self-assessing. You're going to have to start thinking about what are you doing well and what are you not doing well. You guys are independent contractors. Most of you are self-employed. No one is holding your feet to the fire saying, you should do this, you should change this, go in on this. And let's face it, does anybody really love constructive criticism? No. You got to start learning how to self-assess. I call it using a clear mirror to self-assess, because what happens when you're looking in a mirror? You're looking at yourself. You're not looking at anything else. You're not concerned about anything other than you. That's all you can control in your life, is you. How are you showing up? What does your clear mirror say? Well, this is my son, Ben. Ben's 15 now, but I had 2 boys who pretty much tried out every youth sport out there. And I started thinking about our youth. And I started thinking about how they have no clue how to self-assess. Most of them will never know who they came to be because we have deluded them with participation trophies and showering them with unnecessary praise. They don't know who they came to be because they don't even know what they're good at. So I started thinking about this, and I was like, how could I teach my son how to use a clear mirror to self-assess? So Ben was playing baseball, and what happens when they normally come off the field and they go, how did I do? What do you say? Oh, awesome! Like, right, even if they were the most tragic kid on the team. Like, struck out, dropped the ball, you know, didn't even know his way around the base path. So instead I just shifted the script on Ben. He would say, how did I do? And I held the clear mirror up to him and I said, how do you think you did? Now, he was 8 at the time. And he said, I was awesome. And I said, hey, you know what? You had some shining moments. That pop fly that you caught at the end of the second, that was awesome. But let's talk about what was going on in the batter's box in the 4th inning. So I'd take him back to where I could use the clear mirror on him. What was going on? What happened in the batter's box? Now, the first thing I always did was try to blame someone. That pitcher was terrible. And I'd say, oh, Ben, I'm not talking about the pitcher. I'm talking about you. You can't control the pitcher. You don't know if he's going to throw a fastball, a curveball, a strike. He might even hit you with the ball. And he'd say, gosh, you know what? You're right. I was nervous. I didn't know how to swing. I ended up just geeking out. I got scared, and I just didn't swing. And then he'd try to blame someone. He'd say, that umpire was terrible. I even heard Mrs. Jennings say that he's the worst umpire ever. And I was like, I'm not talking about the umpire, Ben. I'm talking about you in the batter's box. So I kept using this clear mirror to him. And here's what happened. Ben, 1, discovered that he really liked baseball and that he was a pretty good little baseball player. The second thing, he started self-assessing, and he started asking for help where he needed it. Hey, could I get a batting lesson? Let's work on fielding. Dad, throw me some pop flies so I can make sure I know how to get behind a ball that's coming at me. He started self-assessing and learning what he was good at. How are you self-assessing? How are you using a clear mirror in your business, especially as we go into this new market, right? People are going to try to blame all kinds of things. But what matters most is how you're living it, how you're showing up every day. It's okay to change. It's okay to change your mind. I always say it's okay to change your hair, your politics, anything. It's be who you came to be. The question is, are you going to change for the better? Are you going to have an up level in your business this year, in your relationships, how you show up, not only to work, but in your own home? I love this quote. Michelangelo, when they asked him about the statue, he said, I saw the angel in the marble and I carved until I set him free. You're the angel in the marble. Be who you came to be. It took Michelangelo over 3 years to carve the statue, and he carved it out of one piece of marble. Crazy. But he saw the angel in the marble. How are you seeing yourself? How are you showing up? What are you dreaming about for your life? Because here's the thing. The time's going to pass anyway. Before you know it, it's going to be spring break, and then it's going to be summer, and then we're going to be going into the holiday season, and then it's going to be 2023, 2024, 2025. 3 years will go by, just like Michelangelo, how long it took for him to carve the statue. What if he would have waited 3 years? Probably would have lost inspiration. Probably would have never started. The time is going to pass anyway, so you have to decide how you're going to show up, how you're going to create epic moments of happiness and success by focusing on what is fulfilling in your life, in your business, in your relationships. You're going to have to own it. You're going to have to own your authenticity and know that not everybody's going to like you. That's okay. And then you're going to have to live it by dreaming a little bit bigger for yourself and leaning into fear so that you can be who you came to be. Missouri Realtor, thank you so much for having me today. I hope I've inspired you to dream a little bit bigger and go all in. Now, but wait, I've got a surprise. Who loves free stuff? Yeah? Everybody, go and read sometime about the science of free. It's really crazy. People love free stuff. So, if you look to the right of your chair, there are some bookmarks that are tucked in to the sides of your chair. Some of you have them. Go ahead and hold it up if you have one. If you have a bookmark by your chair, and if you know, there's some chairs that don't have them, come and see me after and I have a free book for you. Gifting is my love language. I wrote my own book, Be Who You Came to Be. So there are 50 free books out there. Now, if you're sad that you didn't win one of the free books, you can still get, oh, look, see it free. They're like, there's got to be one over on this chair. I know it. You can still order a copy, and they're deeply discounted because I'm actually living right here in Kansas City. I don't have to ship. I don't have to do anything. So you can grab a book for $10 or a book journal combo for $15. I have them out here to look at tonight. Place your order through this QR code. It's going to take you to a super secret site that nobody has access to for you other than you. And I will be here tomorrow, and you can just come pick up your book. Okay? I'm going to have a table out here. You can pick it up tomorrow and get it today. Be who you came to be. Shine your light. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. So if you are a recipient of a free book, please hang tight. You will be able to claim your gift and meet her at the sign, and she's going to actually sign your book for you once the RPAC Award celebration has concluded. So, who is excited for this week? Immediately following the RPAC Awards, which are up next, join us for the welcome reception in the terrace. I hear there may or may not, maybe possibly, be puppies. I would like to recognize our main conference sponsors as well as our exhibitors. Sponsors, please stand as I recognize you. Home Warranty, Inc., USA Mortgage, and American First Title. Next, please stand if you are an exhibitor for our conference. All of our exhibitors are listed on the screen. Please stand. Thank you so much for being here this week, and make sure you go check them out at our exhibitors hall. As you exit after the awards, RPAC Awards and celebration, you'll receive a drink ticket. I encourage you to hang around for our welcome reception in the terrace. This is an excellent networking opportunity with our exhibitors and your fellow realtors. It is now my honor to invite Brian Jared, 2022 Chair of RPAC Trustees, and immediate past President John Mayfield to the stage for the RPAC Awards and celebration. Brian and John, take it away.
How's everybody doing today? As the 2022 Chair of the RPAC Trustees, it is my pleasure to announce the RPAC Missouri Local Board Award winners. 2022 was once again a record-setting year for RPAC. For the second time, Missouri Realtors successfully exceeded their goal by raising over $1.2 million for our Realtors Political Action Committee. This is a fantastic success. Give yourself a round of applause. Amazing. Additionally, we have exceeded both our participation goal and major investor goal with the record-breaking numbers for 2001. We increased our investors from 11,584 to 14,111. That's an additional 2,527 participants. We increased from having 400 major investors to 452 major investors. Additionally, we had 60 President Circle members complete in 2021, and we ended up having 70 for 2022.
Thank you, Brian. I have to be honest with you, one of my biggest fears going into 2022 was that we had made the President's Cup 7 years in a row, and I did not want to drop the ball. Thank you all for putting us over the mark, okay? And thank you to Aaron's team. Let's give them a round of applause because they do such a great job. Really, as your 2022 president, I was just overjoyed to see that we've set the bar higher than we ever have before. And really, many of our local boards just did some unprecedented success. And I just want to mention a few of these. St. Louis Realtors raised over $204,000. Good job, St. Louis. Kansas City Regional Area Realtors exceeded their goal by 114%, bringing in over $152,000. And listen to this, Bagnell Dam had their best local board auction. They brought in nearly double than in years past, raising over $90,000. Good job. And St. Charles Realtors went above and beyond at their local RPAC auction and raised $103,000. So really, all of our boards have really stepped it up in supporting the Missouri Realtor Party vision and mission. We are so grateful for your hard work and remain so ambitious to continuously support our industry, businesses, and families of Missouri. It brings me great excitement and joy that Missouri Realtors will be bringing home the National Association of Realtors State President's Cup and Triple Crown for the 8th consecutive year. So, what's that saying? Why worry about it? It'll probably never ever happen, right? So there was no need to worry, but none of this really would be possible without your tireless efforts and all of you in this room who contributed. Thank you so much. It's been great to see what you've done for Missouri Realtors and for RPAC. So we are now going to turn it back over to Brian.
Thank you, John. In 2021, we had 11 local boards and associations take home the President's Cup. This year, we are happy to announce that 15 associations and boards will be making a new spot for this trophy to put in their headquarters. In order to win the local President's Cup, the board would have to meet the fundraising, participation, major investor, and President Circle goals, in addition to 5 of the 7 advocacy tasks. Advocacy tasks consist of being a corporate ally program investor, 22% Realtor Party mobile alerts participation, 20% call for action participation, coordinating RPAC presentations with your regional advocacy representative, supporting a candidate through an independent expenditure campaign grant or an issue through an issues mobilization grant, applying for one of the 9 community outreach grants, or hosting an online RPAC auction. When your local board's name is called, will the designated attendees from that board come to the stage over here to my right and receive your trophy and a quick photo with our 2022 Missouri Realtors President, John Mayfield. There will be a photo opportunity for your local board after the ceremony in the hallway outside the ballroom. First off, Bagnell Dam Association of Realtors. Columbia Board of Realtors. Franklin County Board of Realtors. Greater Springfield Board of Realtors. Jefferson City Area Board of Realtors. Kansas City Regional Association of Realtors. Lake of the Ozarks Board of Realtors. Mineral Area Board of Realtors. Ozark Gateway Board of Realtors. Pulaski County Board of Realtors. Southeast Missouri Realtors. St. Charles Realtors. St. Louis Realtors. Tri-Lakes Board of Realtors. And West Central Board of Realtors. Can we please get another round of applause for our local board President Cup winners for 2021? We would now like to recognize the following boards for their amazing efforts put forth in 2022 by overachieving their RPAC goals. When your board's name is called, will the designated attendees from that board come to the stage to retrieve your trophy? And a quick photo with our 2022 Missouri Realtors President, John Mayfield. Central Missouri Board of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal, over major investor goal. East Central Board of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal, over major investor goal. Heart of Missouri Board of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal. Lebanon Board of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal. Mark Twain Association of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal, over major investor goal. Four Corners Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal. Ozark Trail Board of Realtors, over participation goal. Ozarks Board of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal. We're cheating. Okay. Randolph County Board of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal. South Central Board of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal, over major investor goal, over President's Circle goal. Southern Gateway Association of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal, over major investor goal. Southwest Missouri Realtor Board of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal, over major investor goal. Three Rivers Board of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal, over major investor goal. And last, West Plains Board of Realtors, over investment goal, over participation goal, over major investor goal. Another round of applause for all the associations. We celebrate our success in the midst of an uncertain year and fully anticipate exceeding our upcoming 2023 goals yet again. We can prove to the rest of the country that together Missouri Realtors is the force for RPAC. Let's bring back the President's Cup and Triple Crown for 2023. Thank you.